Hi all, welcome to Dragon's Cave. My name's Karen, and today I'm making some pocket hugs. Been a while since I made some of these, but they are a craft fair favourite actually. I'm going to do quite a few different ones, I think. Some little froggies, little froggy charms. These are just flat-backed plastic ones. I think pretty much everything I'm using today came from Temu. Most of them I've had for a very long time, so I wouldn't be able to give you a link. I think, oh, how's this one? Pretty pink one. I've got a little turtle, I've got some shells, I've got some cat's paws. If I can get them out of the packet. We can get the packet open to start with. Yeah, I've got some stones, got some colours of various types. So, got my new bottle of UV resin, but unfortunately it doesn't have a nozzle, so I'm going to have to pour some of this into a little pot. Turn the lid, pick up the pot. Because I knew it would pour out that fast, and I would entirely miss the mould if I tried doing that straight into it. So I'm going to start off with the froggies. I don't want to pour this too deep, but I do want it to be kind of in the shape. I'm going to put that out of direct light. But I haven't made enough space. There we go. Right, so I'm just going to pop these face down, obviously because we're working from the front back. Move them around so they're where I want them to be. I'm actually going to pop them underneath resin. Hopefully that way we'll have less of a bubbly issue. And since I've already got quite a bit in this little pot, I'm going to pop this one in here. And do a little couple of cat's paws in here. Use up what's left in here just to, because it doesn't waste. Right, we're going to have different colours, I think. Where did I put that? Seriously, never mind. Let's go with a blue one. This one has got yellow pads. This one's got pink pads. Now I expect these to trap through bubbles, so I'm just going to give them a bit of a, move them about a bit so if there are any bubbles underneath it that they hopefully will come out. These have had a little bit of time there, so before I move on, I'm just going to use this little light, give them a quick blast, and I will be back when this is ready for the next layer. See you in a sec. Right. Now these, they'll have a couple more layers. They won't be the full depth because that's just too big really for a pocket hug. So behind the froggies, I'm going to go with this glitter, diamond dust glitter, UV resin in blue. Oh, it hasn't pulled away from the mould as it was curing. We'll only have a thin layer because it's not a lot in these pots anyway. I'm going to very, very gently push it out to the edges. You need to be gentle, otherwise it will push the cured resin away from the edge of the mould. I'll give that a second, see if there's any bubbles in there. Behind this one, I'm going to go with a rose red, also in diamond dust glitter. I need to buy some more of this. Again, just very, very gently move it out to the edges. Now, I've never used this particular UV resin before. I don't know how well or otherwise it does in terms of shrinkage. Now, I'm just going to grab a little brush. From my stash of little brushes. And this one I'm going to paint behind with, I think I'm going to go with the Starlight from Tiny Turner. Hopefully the UV is still a bit sticky. Very lovely goldy colour. Yep, it is sticky. These colours work best with the black behind them, but I'm actually going to do white for this because, I'm trying to very carefully make sure it's rubbed into the mould without disturbing the mould. Now I'm going to give this a quick cure before moving on again, and I will be right back. See you in a sec. Okay, these are pretty much cured now. They will go under the double-sided light later, just to make sure. So, again, awesome. Good grief, I got really carried away there. It's a new bottle, and it has no nozzle. So. Oh dear, oh dear. Okay, so I'm going to split this. I'm going to pop some clear into this one. Put it over there out of the light. And I'm going to use white mica powder in the one I just put out of the way of the light because oh dear, I'm a bit dim today. What am I saying today? I'm always a bit dim. I don't want this to be too opaque in the first layer, if possible. Very good. Stirry stick, is it? Need a bigger stirry stick. I'll blame the heat. or my age, or just that I'm not very bright, or a combination of all three. So the deepest layer needs to be in this one, obviously. And I'm going to put some behind this and a thin layer behind this just to get the depth that I want. Oh, that's not enough. So, but it's okay because I'll do more than one layer anyway. And just very gently push it out to the edges and hope it's not going to run down the sides. Now, obviously, I can't cure that immediately because I've just got clear in that one. That one, I'm going to pop in just a couple of these very tiny shells. They're really, really pretty. But they will, because they're shells, obviously, they will um, release bubbles. And so the plan is get them in quickly as possible. Things are falling down behind me. Room for another little one. A bit smaller, maybe. Nope, not really enough room in there. Without messing it up, I think. Yeah, give it a go. As I say, as these are curing, they will release bubbles from the holes in the shell. I hope they're not going to show through too much on the other side. So give this another zap. Out to one side for a minute because we'll start on that one in a minute. And I will be back with you very, very shortly. Right, so let's see if I can do this a little bit neater this time. I want a very small amount to put another little layer of white in here and possibly in there. But then in here, let me just pour this first. Right. So this one, I'm actually going to use sand. Now, I have got a little jar of sand. And a gentle, very gentle persuasion. Right. So this time they're going to go straight under the double-sided light to fully cure because there won't be any more layers going on there. And I will be right back to move on with the others. While those are curing, excuse me, I'm going to move on with these. And what we can do first? So these are beads. So they do have holes in, again. I may have a little bit of an issue with bubbles. They're pretty anyway, so I'm going to, again, pour it into each cup. Or maybe I'll just pour into one cup first. Light. So I'm going to pop some of these actually into the resin so that we can attempt at least the bubbles. I mean, I could have sealed these beforehand, but that's honestly a pain that I really can't be bothered with. I'm just going to poke them down into the UV and hope that encourages the bubbles to come out. Any other shapes in there? Oh, oh, a heart. Well, that's a star. I knew what I meant. Okay, so see how that goes. While that, I'm just going to move this out of the light, just for it to have a second. I'm knocking everything over here. What a day. Right, so again, into the cup because otherwise I'll just tip it everywhere. I'm just going to pour into the heart. See how much I need in there. I think that will be ample because I'm going to put these little stones in, and according to the label, they are lapis lazuli or lazuli, however you pronounce that. I'm just going to drop those in. I'm probably going to layer this a bit. I think that's enough for the first layer. And I'm going to be sitting here waiting all day if I carry on waiting for this, so I'm just going to pop it in. And as I suspected, there's far too much resin in this pot. I'm just going to drop more in there. So I have got sheets of fake gold leaf. I'm just going to break up a little bit in here. Going everywhere. Flying around the room, so I've just put it down in front of my fan. That was a very clever thing to do. Now, generally, it breaks up reasonably easily. And in it goes. I want it to be out to the edges a little. I'm going to drop more in here and a drop in there, so I don't want to waste it. Now, I have something else in mind for the final one. This one, now that I got all the gold out here, I'll put a drop in here. This, because I want this next one to be reasonably full. This is dripping. I'm not even sure if this last one is going to work the way I want it to, but we will very soon find out. Too much again. Right, so give this a cure, and I'll be back. See you in a tick. Well, this has had just about 90 seconds. I didn't want it to get too solid. I don't know if you can see this. It's a nail transfer, holographic, and I'm going to attempt get that to stick on there. Assuming I've got it facing the right way, of course. Don't even know if I've got the sheet the right way up. I'm hoping I have. Well, I did, but only part of it came off. So that is a big shame, because it's never going to get back in the right place. Nope. Oh, that's sad. Nope, not coming off. That's tragic. I was really looking forward to doing that. The resin is so sticky. That's not the problem. It's my usage of thing. It's not working. I will think of something else. So bear with me and I'll be back. Okay, I have got purple magnetic nail varnish. So unfortunately, there's still some of the holographic thing on there because it didn't want to come off either. Didn't want to stay on and didn't want to come off. So let's just see what we can do with this. Now, let's see which pattern shall we use. I think I'm going to use this end of the magnet. Just attempt not to actually dip it into the nail varnish, which I just did. Okay, I think that's going to be quite pretty. So let's get that layer cured. And I will be back very, very soon. See you in a bit. Well, as usual, I forgot to turn on the camera. So I did another layer of stones and then I used this coppery coloured chrome nail powder behind those. So finish these off now. See if I can do this. Without making a horrific mess. Right, so I've decided I like purple with gold. So I'm going to go with purple behind this one and that one. And probably behind this one because it needs a dark colour to make the chrome powder show up properly. I need quite a bit more UV in there. I did think of putting another layer in, but then for some reason I decided against it. Now I'll go behind this one first. And throw that in there. I'll probably have to mix more up for that one because this is probably going to need 2 layers anyway. Yes, it will. Let that little drip in the corner there just to encourage it into place. Now I will very quickly get this little light on there. Stop it running down the sides if there are any gaps. That's the hope anyway. Then I'll Mix up a little more purple for the back coat. And a big light. But then for this smaller one, I'm going to go with this very deep pink. It's the closest thing I have to red in a mica powder. And it's a mess. Looks like the lid wasn't on properly in there. And it's been stored upside down. I don't recall ever actually using this one before. Might have actually come like that, who knows. Sometimes they do. Especially when they come from Temu. Get some of this cleared up because red stains just about everything there is possible to stain. Clean wet wipe. That seems to be good enough for that layer at least. Just figure out where I put my cups now. Oh, what a day. Cup. Right. Need a small amount for the red because there's not a lot of space in there. I think that'll be ample. I'll do the second layer of purple off camera, so you don't need to see that again. It's a very nice rose red, but it's not as red as I would have liked. Red is a very hard colour to get hold of. I know that Andy, CC UK, has a beautiful one. I think it's called Candy Apple Red, but I'm not sure. I can never remember where he got it from, but I do know it was an American supplier. Right. Put that in there quickly. I will give that a quick blast. Hold it. I will do the other layer of purple off camera, and I will be back to see you when we're ready to get these out of the mould. See you in a tick. I think they're all ready to come out of the mould now, and I'm going to attempt to remember which order I did them in. I'm pretty sure this was the froggies. Yes. Oh, that's cute. Yeah, I did get some of the second colour running down in there, ran down the side. This UV resin clearly shrinks more than the one I normally use. That's a shame, but it's still pretty. Where did we go? Maybe this one, I think. Yeah, no, oddly, this one hasn't run down there. Probably because it was a thinner layer of clear to begin with. That's really pretty as well. This, I think, is the paws. Yep. Yeah, we did get a little bit running down there, but it doesn't really show that much. But the, what was it? Supernova? No, it wasn't, was it? I can't remember which. Oh, Starlight that we used behind it. Was really pretty with the white behind. And move those up there a smidge. And this one was the shells. Now I'm expecting quite a few bubbles in here. But actually, unless you actually look for them, there's one there and one there. And if you really look, you can just about see the bubble inside the shell here. But it actually turned out really well. I'm very pleased with that. The sand obviously didn't run down the side into the first layer. This one Can't remember which order we did these in. Doesn't matter. Let's just get them out, shall we? Now, these are still a bit warm, but yeah, that turned out really nicely. I like it anyway. Well, this was the one with the gold foiling. I really like that. Not a true red, but it's red enough. But these do feel slightly tacky still, so I will be popping them into a glass of water and putting them back under UV light. Yeah, you can't, in between the stones, you can't really see the copper, but you can see it around the edge. And you can see where things have pulled away a little. I'm not quite so happy with that, but it's not bad. I like it anyway. And the final one was the one that was the disaster, where I tried using the holographic nail thing. And you can just about see the remains of the holographic in the middle of that there, and a tiny bit up here. But I don't think it detracts from it at all. I think it's really pretty. Now, once I've given these another cure, normally I would slightly dome the back with UV resin, but because it's so difficult to get that stuff out, I'm just going to sand the edges down on the back, make them nice and smooth, so just around here. And this one actually doesn't feel tacky at all, so it's just a nail file. Just sanding in one direction so that I can get any sharp edges off there, because if they're intended to be in your pocket, give them a squeeze when you're missing somebody. Last thing you need is sharp edges. Well, that's sharp edges gone. And then what I do with them is I make these pocket hug cards. I just print these off myself on my normal inkjet printer. And then I have glue dots. I just pop glue dot in the middle, peel off the backing, and pop it onto the card. There we have pretty little pocket hugs. I'll get these water cured to make sure there's no tackiness, sand down any bits and pieces, and get you some photos. Hope you liked, sorry, hope you liked the video. Give us a thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed, please do. Button down there somewhere along here. It'll never cost you anything, and it does help my channel out a massive amount. So if you made it this far, thank you for watching. I'll see you again soon. Bye.